Back. It's the Matt Murphy Radio Show. We are underway for another hour. Happy to have you with us. It is 6 minutes past 5 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is also Wednesday. That means that Cameron Smith will be along moments from now. He of the Tennessee, and he writes over there. He comes to see us once a week. We also have a little podcast going called All the Best Words. You can check that out on our Super Talk 99.7 WTN podcast platform. You can find all about that at 997WTN.com. But before we speak with our friend Cameron, we want to speak to another friend. He is Senate Majority Leader Jack Johnson. He joins us via the telephone. A lot of times he is in studio with us, but duty calls, and he's got a lot of meetings going on, obviously, hot and heavy in the General Assembly. We always appreciate Jack spending a little time with us. Hello, Senator. How are you?
Hey, Matt, I'm great. I wish I was there with you. I would really relish the opportunity to get a little break and enjoy some of this nice weather and get some fresh air, but just could not make it over to the studio.
All good. Lots going on in the Senate. I want to address some of those matters, to include some of the pushback some mayors have given the General Assembly with regard to property tax rate caps. I'm kind of a fan of this, but some of these local mayors aren't. I want to get to that as well. But there was a piece, I guess, fans of Jack Johnson would refer to it maybe as a hit piece on you regarding Tesla. And I just want an opportunity to speak to this because some liberal organizations have did some sleuthing and realized that you had ownership of Tesla stock at one point, and they're trying to put this together with the Tesla tunnel. And I just wanted to give you an opportunity to speak on the matter.
Well, thanks, Matt. I'm grateful for that. We've talked about it previously. This is really an incredible opportunity for our state. The Boring Company, which is utilizing state-of-the-art technology to be able to dig these tunnels or bore these tunnels and create transportation thoroughfares, connecting points throughout Middle Tennessee and maybe ultimately in other parts of the state at absolutely no cost to taxpayers, I think is it's really an amazing opportunity. We have a lot of traffic problems, a lot of people moving to Tennessee, and we've talked ad nauseum about some things we're doing on the traditional side of things to expand capacity on our roadways, our interstates, and so forth. And we are doing a lot there. The choice lanes are about to come to fruition. But when you think about a private sector company is willing to come in at their own expense and create a means of travel for goods and services, and they chose Tennessee. They could go anywhere. They could go anywhere in America. They're operational in Las Vegas now. They just signed a deal with Orlando, Florida, where they're going to be doing some work down there. So it's a real wonderful opportunity. I've introduced legislation that would, and by the way, the project is already approved. The loop from downtown Nashville out to the airport is already approved. They're already digging. Mm-hmm. The existing state agencies had the authority to make that happen and issue the permits, environmental and safety and so forth. But I do think, and the General Assembly believes, along with the governor's office, that we should have some type of long-term dedicated authority. We have an airport authority, we have a mega site authority, we've got the East Bank Authority. That would be a governing entity. And I'm carrying that legislation. You used the word sleuthing. Look, we are required as members of the General Assembly to disclose every year stock positions that we have, sources of income, and that type of thing. And I think that's a good thing. I think there should be transparency. And yes, I did have a small, I would say relatively small, 50-share position in Tesla, and some are accusing me of somehow trying to benefit myself by advancing this Boring Company initiative, which is going to be wonderful for Middle Tennessee. Now, the Boring Company is a privately held company. Tesla is a publicly traded company. They are two separate companies. But, some people made an issue of it. So yesterday, at my own volition, I sold the position. I issued a statement to that effect. I don't want that to be a distraction. I bought the stock. It was fully disclosed, just like we all have to do. So, but I don't want it to be a distraction for us getting this incredible opportunity for Middle Tennessee.
Well, Jack, I know you a long time, and I know you to be a straightforward guy, but you understand in my position, I have to ask the question, and I'm not accusing you of anything wrong. Did you know about the Boring Company deal before you bought the stock?
I did not. The stock was the 50 share position was purchased. I went back and looked because the reporter asked me, and I said, I'll be glad to tell you. I don't have to divulge that under state law. I don't have to divulge how many shares I owned, but I was happy to do so.
Yeah.
I bought the position April 15th of last year, 50 shares. I haven't added to the position. When I sold it yesterday, I sold 50 shares, and that's what I'd bought almost a year ago. The announcement for the Boring Company was made on July 28th of last year. I had no knowledge that it was coming until the governor made the public announcement.
Well, look, asked and answered, and I don't. By the way, if you're owning Tesla stock, I think you're putting your money in the right place. So right, so
well, it's one of the most widely held stocks in America. And by the way, if you own a mutual fund, it's probably got or an ETF, an exchange traded fund, it's probably got some Tesla in there as well. But this was a single position, a 50 share position. I think when I bought it, it was about $13,000 or something like that. But look, it's not worth that, and I don't even want the appearance of impropriety. I'm sorry it became an issue, but it's because I fully disclosed it.
Well, this is a part. I mean, this is a part of a liberal onslaught against Elon Musk and this company, right? So, and this project. And I mean, last night, Metro Council, they voted some sort of opposition to this project. I think this is solely based on partisan politics. Already, we've heard from Democrat news outlets that are criticizing the idea that there has to be some money associated with the oversight. They criticize. So I'm just getting it straight now. They criticized the lack of oversight. They said, "Oh, there's no oversight. This is a privately run thing, and it's going to flood, and there'll be cave-ins and all these types of things." And then when it comes out that there will be an oversight board, there will be regulations on the part of the state, and that's going to cost some money. And look, I want it to cost as little as possible. I think it's about $5 million, if I'm not mistaken.
We have a revised fiscal note today because I think Fiscal Review, who does amazing work, they're our independent entity that scores these bills in terms of the cost to the state. And I think we've had some conversations with them about maybe they misinterpreted some aspects of the legislation. And most recently, I believe the fiscal note is down to about $700,000 per year.
Okay, so it's not even the $5 million; it's $700,000.
That's correct.
For a tunnel that is 13 miles long and can be expanded into many other parts of the state that is going to cost the state. How much money? Remind me again how much money this tunnel is costing the state? Outside
I believe,
of that?
as Ken Weaver would say, that's $0, sir.
Absolutely nothing, boys.
Yes.
Jack, the pushback, were you expecting pushback from mayors not in Nashville or Memphis or maybe even Knoxville, the city of, with regard to property tax caps? Because I'm a little surprised that we've seen the pushback on the part of these local governments that we've seen.
Well, we've had variations of this and had this conversation before. I am supportive of a cap. I do think that the vast majority of our counties and our municipalities do a really good job. They manage their money well, but there is an issue of a matter of principle that they don't want it to be capped. I think we are now one of, I believe it's 5 states, Matt. It's single digits in terms of the numbers. I believe we're one of 5, less than 10 states out there that don't have some type of guardrails on these property tax increases. And unfortunately, when you have cities like Nashville who have had massive property tax increases, and you've talked about them, there's been a lot of reporting on these. That's Nashville. We've had some similar problems in Shelby County, Memphis, and even some other counties that are out there. Or municipalities, rather, as well, with just these large tax increases, and so we have to take a look at it, and so there are a lot of conversations. I'm less involved in those than I am on some of the others, but I'm supportive of some reasonable guardrails that are put in place. Now, I also give the example. There are some municipalities out there that have a teeny tiny little property tax that's just probably for an average size home you pay $100 or something in property tax. and then that community wishes to start a fire department, and that's going to cost some money, and so the city council votes to, and if it's a teeny tiny property tax and you go from that to double, that's a 100% increase. And so most of the proposals have a provision in there to where you can do it by referendum. So if a community does wish to have that fire department or whatever is being contemplated with this extra revenue, that they can take it to the voters and they can approve it, and then you can raise the taxes as much as necessary, as much as proposed. So, a lot of these different moving pieces and parts. You also have bond covenants. Municipalities and counties have issued bonds, and those bonds are protected by, the people who buy those bonds. There's language in those bond covenants that says they're backed by the municipality's unlimited ability to raise taxes as necessary to repay those. We cannot impair a contract. Our Constitution prohibits that. So there are some complexities. But at the end of the day, I think we need to join the 45 other states that are out there that have some type of guardrails on how much those taxes can be raised.
It's my understanding, Jack, that you are in the midst of discussions, and by the way, we're speaking with Senate Majority Leader Jack Johnson for a few more moments. You're in the midst of discussions regarding the Regulatory Freedom Act.
Yes.
Which would, it's my understanding, increase oversight in an effort to eliminate bureaucratic red tape and amongst these regulations. I mean, I don't know how long you've been talking about this. How long has the bureaucratic discussion been going on about reducing bureaucratic red tape?
Yeah, it's gone on for it's been going on for quite a while. But you should know, one of the things I'm proud about Tennessee, and has been in place for many, many years, is our rural review process we have now. Tennessee is a state. Every agency, every department in the state of Tennessee goes away at a predetermined time unless the General Assembly affirmatively votes to extend that department or agency. The federal government doesn't have that. That's why programs and departments are started or agencies, and they just last into perpetuity. We don't do that in Tennessee. But the great thing about the Regulatory Freedom Act, and I'm the proud Senate sponsor of that, and it's being promoted by our friends at Americans for Prosperity. It's got the endorsement of a number of business groups out there because they're usually the most affected by rules. And Cliff Notes version, and it takes some time to really do a deep dive into this, but if we pass a law, it's very common that we will authorize the department or agency that's going to enforce that law or that it applies to promulgate rules. We can't be overly prescriptive in state statute down to, how you submit a form or different things. And so we empower these departments with the ability to promulgate rules. All of those rules have to come back and be approved by the General Assembly through the government operations process. And that system works really well. What we are proposing with this piece of legislation is if a department wishes to promulgate a rule, that they reach out to the affected stakeholders. If it's a bill that affects auto mechanics, then they need to reach out to auto mechanics and be proactive in that, either through associations or chambers of commerce or however, and say, hey, we're looking at this rule. We want your feedback on how this is going to affect your business. And then we're going to have an entity that's going to independently assign a cost, an impact to commerce, or a cost to the private sector, much like our fiscal review department assigns fiscal notes to various pieces of legislation. And if that rule is going to cost more than a certain amount of money to the private sector, then the General Assembly should have to vote on that independent of any other rule package. And so that sounds complicated probably, but at the end of the day, it's going to shine a light on those rules that have the effect of law once they're adopted, that we know exactly what the impact to our business community or any other affected community is going to be, what it's going to cost, and that everyone knows that before it's allowed to go into effect.
Oh my goodness gracious, that's a lot of words, Jack.
I'm sorry.
That's a lot of words.
It's a lot of words.
Are we going to see movement on legislation to force a change at NES on the state level? We are.
And there could be more. I'm also sponsoring the bill in the Senate that's going to require that all affected areas, or all service areas rather, of NES or any other municipal utility, and they're not the only one. There are other municipal-run utilities, electric companies, that serve outside of their jurisdictional boundaries. And oftentimes those same people that are on the periphery, like people in my district in Williamson County that are served by NES, they have no voice in terms of the board or us appointing the board, and we're going to change that. There are a handful of other bills that are out there. That's what I'm focused on. I think it's unreasonable that I have 20-something thousand NES customers in Williamson County that lost power, and they have no voice in who is running NES, and I want to change that.
Jack, thank you for being responsive to the questions asked. I appreciate you and your leadership. Oh, I should ask you before you go, this is the first chance that we've had to speak since the announcement was made by the Lieutenant Governor, Randy McNally, that he will not be running for re-election. Obviously, that means that we will have a new Lieutenant Governor moving forward in the next session, next year. What are your thoughts about the leadership of Lieutenant Governor McNally and the future for leadership in the Senate?
Well, thank you, Matt. First of all, Lieutenant Governor McNally is a great friend. He served this state, for a long time. A lot of the fiscal things we brag about, he deserves a tremendous amount of credit for, because he is very active. Even when he was in the minority party and Democrats controlled the state, he was a voice of thoughtful reason when it came to fiscal matters. He's going to be missed, but it's a very well-deserved retirement. And so, first of all, I salute him for his service and thank him for that. Yes, that's going to result later this year. We'll have, after the elections, we'll have some caucus leadership positions. I am very seriously considering asking my caucus to consider me for the position of Speaker of the Senate and Lieutenant Governor. But right now, we need to focus on completing our work here in the General Assembly with this legislative session, and that's where my intention is.
Well, I mean, you obviously anticipated my next question by answering it in that way, but you feel like it would be premature before you finish up this session, before you begin those types of discussions?
I do. Again, this is a meeting and an election, if you will, in terms of the caucus nomination. To be the speaker is elected on the very first day of session every 2 years at the beginning of a General Assembly. But then both caucuses, though, have the opportunity to nominate their candidate. So my caucus, the Republican caucus, would meet sometime. Probably it's not a set date, but it's typically sometime in November after the November election, or maybe early December, and have leadership elections where we elect our majority leader, our caucus chairman, and we nominate our candidate for Speaker of the Senate and Lieutenant Governor.
Senate Majority Leader Jack Johnson joining us yet again. Thank you, Jack, for spending some time with us on a very busy day for you, and we'll talk again very soon.
Great. Thank you, Matt.
Yep, very good. If you missed any portion of that conversation, if you missed the beginning portion, we asked Jack about the report that he owned a Tesla stock. He says that he has voluntarily given up his Tesla stock because he did not want an appearance of impropriety. He also said, he stated plainly that he bought the stock April 15th of last year and was unaware of the Boring Company's effort in the state of Tennessee until July 28th. I think I have that right, either the 26th or the 28th. I cannot read my own writing. I wrote it down when he said it. When the governor made the announcement, he says that's when he found out. So he bought the stock prior to the announcement, was not aware of the possibility at the time that he bought the 50 shares, and he has dissolved the 50 share, or, he sold the 50 shares because he doesn't want any appearance of impropriety. Take that for what it is. Asked and answered. I know Jack to be a good guy, and I'm going to take him at his word until proven otherwise. And if we get in any additional information on this, we're going to present it to you because we're not afraid of doing that either. 24 after the hour on Super Talk. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Thank you for being out there. We appreciate you. Your calls always appreciated as well. Your communique on the Super Text line, 615-737-9986, 615-737-9986. We also appreciate our good friend Cameron Smith. He joins us these Wednesdays, and we thank him for it. He writes over there at the Tennessean, and he talks to us, and he also talks to us on All the Best Words, where you can hear Cameron and I go after it on a weekly basis
Yep.
on our podcast. Hello, Cameron.
Hey, buddy.
How are you? It's a fine looking shirt.
I thank you. I'm doing better than the supreme leader and all of the leadership echelon in Iran.
Man, I don't know that I would want to accept that. What do you, Jackson, just use your words over there. What do you need? You need him to slide?
Yeah, the camera's your camera is blocking Cameron.
Yeah, you go that way?
Yep, keep going, Cameron. Keep going.
Oh, that's right. You're supposed
There
to be
you
you're
go.
supposed to be in the corner.
Yes.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
It's weird.
Yes, awkward. Also, her father does when she's 16 and you're 38, dude. What are you doing?
Yeah.
How old do you think? I don't know his name. Patrick Swayze's character in Dirty Dancing. How old do you think that dude was supposed to be? Early 20s.
Yeah, 25. That's
And
older.
she's 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a good day.
I'll put baby in the corner. Thank you very much. You need to get your ass out of here. I mean, right?
Yep.
That movie lands. A lot of movies landed differently. The Breakfast Club, I find myself agreeing with the principal more and more and more the older I get.
I watched Goonies again, and wow. Like, I shouldn't have been allowed to watch Goonies as a kid.
Goonies is great. Goonies is good. I mean, but yeah. I mean, they wanted to kill those Goonies.
Right. And
Chunk scared me when I was a kid.
Yeah, you guys.
Oh, no. He's gross looking. Oh, he's putting, don't put your face on his face. Oh.
To me, I'm going to take you home. I just love Goonies. But I remembered it fondly and had edited it all out in my head, right? The unedited version of Goonies is the notion that things were way more wholesome in the 80s is not true.
What I'm trying to remember what part you're talking about.
I'm not talking. It's not sexual. It's just wildly profane and violent, and for a kid type movie, it's about the kids. It's very strange.
Yeah, we and Mike writes in and says, "You guys got to remember, we grew up with the TBS and TNT versions."
That's
some
a
of
good
these
point.
movies, and that is a good point.
And so maybe I was thinking I'd seen that version, and then I saw the version that's unedited, and it was intense.
Chris, before you go, I would hope that you like me more than you hate Cameron, and you would stick around. Come on, man.
Yeah, Chris, come on, dude.
Don't be that way. I mean, it's a balancing act. 4110 says that baby was 18. I don't believe you.
I don't either. And Chris, I mean, I understand that sometimes liberals have to take their ball and go home. I get it. It's fine. It's okay.
I would like to note for those of you watching on Supertalk TV that Cameron and I did not coordinate our outfits today. We chose these shirts independent of one another, but it does show you that we think alike in some respects. And it's springtime, and it feels like springtime. I know that it's not officially spring, but it feels like spring, and thank you.
Yes, Mike just commented, and it caught me off guard.
What nude scene was there in 16 Candles?
I don't remember.
I remember the chick getting her hair stuck in the door, and they cut it off. I remember the panty scene. Remember the panty scene? Where he asks, Farmer Ted asks Molly Ringwald to borrow her panties for 10 minutes. I remember that. I don't remember the nude scene. Anyway, 41 after the hour. Before we descend any further into this madness, we might as well play the sounder and play a little game we like to call Nincompoops in the News. It is time where we go all across the state of Tennessee and find those news stories that you need to know about. We scan these United States of America and all across the globe where we find those nincompoops, where they live and where they breathe, and we bring them right back here to Middle Tennessee, to Supertalk 99.7 WTN. Ken Weaver has an nincompoop. Jackson Williams has an nincompoop. Cameron Smith plays on Wednesdays. He has a nincompoop, and Matt Murphy has a nincompoop. It's four-way nincompoop fest on Supertalk 99.7 WTN. I get to go first. Oh, no, I get to choose who goes first.
Yeah, because you won.
Because I
matter
won.
to discuss first.
Okay. Oh, that's right. So Jackson, and I'm glad Cameron's here because he can help assist in this discussion. So you have now learned how to do polls on YouTube TV.
Yes.
And what you would like to do is a daily Nincompoop poll at the conclusion of the Nincompoop stories.
Yes.
Basically saying who won. And then whoever wins the poll, that counts as a certain number of votes.
I was thinking 2 votes.
Ken, any thoughts on this? So the poll goes up on Talk TV. It gives the Talk TV folks an opportunity to vote. They don't currently have it. They would have to go over to the text line.
Okay.
I'm generally in agreement, but I wonder, should it be 2 votes? Should it be 3 votes?
Now we're getting aggressive.
I think 2 is fair because of how close these are.
I mean, there might be 20 people on Talk TV voting.
Yeah. Why don't we count all those too?
Well, because that involves work, Ken.
And math. And we went into
Gotcha.
radio to avoid math.
And counting to 20 is a high number.
Well,
It is.
have you counted the text line votes yet?
I try not to count.
Because-
I get a general sense. I'm a lawyer.
I have to do it because Ken's busy doing news. Jackson is a liar and will lie to you
He will.
and tell you that he won when he clearly did not.
I won yesterday.
Hey,
See what I mean?
he's a Tennessee volunteer, you know?
So I have to
Low
count
down.
them. And I'm counting them, and now I got to go over to YouTube TV and count those. And do I have to go to Rumble and count those?
No, because the polls only work on YouTube.
Well, Ken and Cameron are suggesting that we count all the votes on YouTube TV individually.
That does. How soon do we need to declare a winner?
6:10.
At 6:10? Well,
No.
I mean, imagine having to count to 20 in like 10 minutes.
yeah, that does take a long
That
time.
is such a heavy lift.
Especially for a Georgia alum.
My goodness. I think we're the Nincompoops. So we'll figure it out. I'd be good with 2 votes, but certainly put the poll up there, and that'll give us a good sense of what's happening. So on today's edition of Nincompoops in the News, it's going to go Ken Weaver,
Yes, sir.
Matt Murphy, Cameron Smith, and then Jackson.
Let me go last.
Okay, Jackson, then Cameron Smith.
That works.
Nope, you set the order the first time.
Well, I just changed it.
Jackson's voice has come back.
Oh, Jackson. Sounds like Bane in that Batman movie.
I think he's throwing back shots at Jack.
He might
During
be.
breaks.
I think he's got something in that big old container he's got over there.
Going out and smoking cigarettes.
Maybe. All right, Ken, you're
right.
first.
Foul-mouthed Brit passenger thrown off flight for slapping flight attendant's bum and vaping.
Whoa.
The 58-year-old man was unceremoniously arrested by uniformed police when the plane touched down in Taiwan. It had taken off from London. He said, "I apologize. I'm sorry. I touched your bum, F's sake. What is she, a pedophile?" He was visibly unsteady on his feet as he was removed from the cabin.
That's a great accent.
The man has been accused of slapping a female crew member's buttocks with force, as well as touching the buttocks of both male and female flight attendants.
Hello.
While communicating with the flight attendants, he reportedly raised their hands and kissed them, called them lovey. The chaos began during the 13-hour flight from London to Taiwan. Witnesses said he was sucking on a vape during the flight, shouting a tirade of abuse at other passengers and staff. His wife tried to defend him by saying he likes to joke. They told her it's not funny,
Governor.
and you're an accomplice.
You're an accomplice.
One passenger apparently told him, "You're in Taiwan now, not England." His wife then asked him to stop, saying, "Everyone says you're being noisy." Upon arrival at the airport, the China Airlines cabin crew informed the aviation police of the badly behaving Brit. He was taken into custody and reportedly faces a fine for vaping on the plane. Further charges are pending. What do you think about that, boys?
My goodness gracious. He's touching bums.
Bum toucher.
I would have tried the Taiwanese accent, but I don't think I would do that very well at all.
Please do it.
I'm not going to do that, Brother Jackson.
How do they sound in Taiwan?
I don't.
My guess would be kind of Chinese.
Yeah.
See, and I'd say that's where I was going.
Like
And
Mandarin?
I'd be immediately ching chang chung, and I would be fired.
It is. One of my
You
best.
did? Yep.
One of my best friends was from Taiwan, and I cannot do that accent. I just can't.
Mm.
Because it will sound terrible.
But you have no British best friends.
No, I do not have any British.
Give me one more governor.
Governor,
That's good. I like that.
I touched a bum.
He did. He touched her bum. Lawrence County, Tennessee. It's a local nincompoop, ladies and germs.
Here we go.
A suspected burglar was taken into custody hours after a business in Lawrence County was broken into thanks to a clue she left behind the scene at the crime location, according to investigators. The St. Joseph Police Department began investigating a burglary at a business Monday morning. Officers say at the business they found a broken window and discarded receipts inside of an office, one showing a purchase that was made at a Mexican restaurant in Alabama. According to authorities, the receipt clearly spelled out the name of the suspected burglar in capital letters, identified as Helen Bunn. So St. Joseph Police Chief Adam Brewer told News 2 that this kind of clue doesn't happen very often. It's not too often, but it's nice when they hand us a win like that. It's very much appreciated. Not long after police responded to the business, they reportedly got a call from the Lawrence County Sheriff's Office about a woman with the same name who had been picked up on the side of the road. From my understanding, they got a call about a suspicious suspect who was located within the city limits of St. Joseph and Loretto. At one point, the subject was lying on the side of the highway, which prompted someone to call them in. And that's when officers made contact. It shows we have good teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. It's what everything puts together when you can work together and share information. What are we applauding each other? She left her name at the scene of the burglary, and you're running around patting everybody on the back. According to
That's
Brewer,
good work.
Oh, good work, man. Oh, boy, you are a Columbo, my friend. You are Telly Savalas, and you're sucking on that lollipop like a champ.
Who loves you, baby?
The 49-year-old woman left a local rehab facility hours before her break-in. They always leave us a clue, and we appreciate the help, reportedly, according to the sheriff. So there you go. Helen Bunn is a nincompoop for leave. That's almost as bad as writing writing the note when you're stealing money from the bank on the back. There was one famous nincompoop that wrote the note saying this is a robbery on the back of their deposit slip.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Which had
Our first clue.
Oh, gentlemen, I think I've cracked the case. Jackson, you're a nincompoop, sir.
All right.
What? Why are you so funny?
I don't know.
It cracks me up.
All right.
Influencer washing underwear in hotel coffee maker slammed as disgusting, facing backlash.
Yeah.
A TikTok influencer is responding to outrage online after seemingly recommending that her followers use a hotel coffee maker to wash their underwear while on the road. Influencer Tara Woodcocks, who has over 700,000 followers on the platform, incurred Tara Woodcocks.
Uh-huh.
Woodcocks.
I didn't need you to spell
It's phonetic.
In the clip, Woodcocks suggested placing the garment in the coffee filter compartment and running the brew cycle so that the hot water would flow over it.
I think that answer to her name is yes.
You close it, you press brew, and it puts scorching hot water right through it. After the TikTok video gained traction, she clarified she never actually washed underwear herself in a coffee maker.
I got $500. She's got panty crickets.
What are... Oh, God.
Do tell.
I
want to know how you pair underwear and crickets.
I'm just
Okay.
I'm just letting y'all know. The bet's out there.
All I know is that using underwear as a coffee filter seems dicey.
No, I think you
No, she is
She
not.
put it in
There's
the
no
pot.
coffee involved.
There's no coffee. She's putting them in the pot, right? And letting
Yes.
the hot, steamy water rain down upon the panties so as to kill aforementioned panty crickets.
Got it. I know what those are now.
In the
Thank
new
you.
social media post, she claims the idea was something she had heard about years earlier, but had not personally tried. I've never actually done that, but this is really funny, you guys, she said.
I made ramen noodles in the coffee pot in college.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Still
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Easy.
Woodcox also noted that she typically avoids using hotel coffee makers altogether because of concerns about cleanliness.
Well, I mean,
I get
ready to
that.
say.
That checks out.
I'm
Still-
a believer from now on.
Still, the original video has continued circulating across social media, with many users expressing shock over the idea of using a shared hotel appliance for washing undergarments.
this lady reminds me of that. Remember that joke where the two guys are in the car and the guy keeps blowing through red lights and he keeps telling the passenger's like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "Oh, my brother does this all the time. It's fine. My brother does this all the time. It's fine." And then they get to a green light and he slams on his brakes. And the guy's like, "What are you doing now?" He goes, "Well, my brother might be coming." Well, yeah, you're worried about cleanliness of the coffee pot because you know you're doing this gross stuff.
The weirdest hotel story like this that I've heard is a real one that happened to me. I was on a work trip. One of my colleagues was I was meeting him in the room. I go into the room and he's sitting on the edge of the bed with the remote in his hand, and the remote is covered with the ice bag. Like, the little ice bag that's in the little ice thing?
Yeah.
And, I'm looking at it and I'm like, what's going on? So I asked him, I said, "Do you have the remote in an ice bag?"
Mm-hmm.
And the response was, they put it in their butts. And I was, "Excuse me? What?" So, well, it's
Who
common.
puts what in their butts?
It's common knowledge that, folks in hotels occasionally, put the remote in the nether region.
It's common knowledge.
Yeah.
Goodness.
And enough that this person, with no one else in the room, had put the ice bag over the remote to avoid getting the bottom cooties on it.
There's more than cooties on that
And
thing.
I just said, if one were to put that in their posterior, don't you think it would be pretty obvious? And
Watch. I can work the volume button.
right, and it's I just turned around and walked out and just said, "Okay,
Can we watch ESPN? Sure.
that's all I got. I can't further advance this conversation."
Man.
Could
I'm
you
out.
adjust the volume?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, too high.
All right, Cameron, quickly.
Yes, mine is very, very quick. It violates all the rules.
Are you going to be DQ'd?
Yes.
Okay.
But I will take the DQ.
Okay. All right.
And it's because, as you know, every Wednesday I do Florida Man, right?
Yeah.
I look for
You do.
Florida Man.
You do.
And this time when I looked for Florida Man, it said the first one that hit me was a soldier from Winter Haven is among 6 U.S. military deaths in the 4-day war with Iran.
Oh.
And it is the Pentagon on March 3rd identified Captain Cody Cork, 35, of Winter Haven, as one of 4 American soldiers killed in an unmanned aircraft attack on a port in Kuwait on March 1st. And I know that this is it's not funny, certainly not a nincompoop, a hero, but I think it's important that we don't forget these folks' names because we talk about the Iran war and the political motivations and everything like that, but that's somebody's kid. And, so my Florida Man, it's Captain Cody. And
that's good.
I just want to mention it. That's it.
Well, that's how we play Nincompoops in the news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And that was no nincompoop. You're certainly right about that. We will talk about the war coming up in just a moment. It's 56 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.